Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. मुझे जी की जय. Thank you all so very much for joining in. And if this is your first time in Satsang, the way to ask questions is through the chat window. Namaste, namaste. In Satsang, it is being which is speaking to being. Consciousness speaks to consciousness. And actually, it is every time that any communication is happening, it is between consciousness alone. But this communication in satsang is still little different because it is not with the pretense of being a person. There is no pretense of a person speaking from here. There is no pretense of a person hearing on the other side. This is satsang. And no other communication or rare other communication can happen in the world without this pretense. In most other communication, we are referring to each other as people, as egos, as separate individuals. So, just in this much itself, it is great power. To have the opportunity to commune like this as consciousness itself, without referring to each other as people, and mostly without referring to our personal issues, this is very powerful. And yes, it is true that when satsang starts, in the first satsang, for the new one who comes into satsang, it can seem like a person has come into satsang. Yes. But very soon this person starts to dissolve. And sometimes it is a stir fry, and sometimes it is a slow boil. Therefore, sometimes there are strong reactions coming from personhood, even within satsang. And on other times, the person just gently seems to melt away. Namaste, namaste, everyone, namaste. So, when this person, this belief starts to melt, and now for most of you it is completely dissolving, then what remains? As the personal identity is dissolving, what remains now? Namaste, namaste. So Rashmi is having some Ustream issues. Welcome, Kanchan. Claire says only you remains. Yes, only you remains. The Sadguru in the heart remains as your own self. And Atma says just isness remains. Yes. Lizelle says pure being. And it is seen that the person is never here anyway. The personal identity, which seems so strong for some of you just a few weeks ago, it could have seemed so strong. And now we really start to wonder what all the fuss was about. Atma says, person is never here, true Father. And if the person was ever real, if the person was ever real, then my task in satsang would not be as easy as it is. It would not be as easy. My job is very, very simple. It is only to ask you to look. Look at what is real right now. And that's why I say if there is a little bit of openness and this looking happens, then you cannot miss it. You are it. How can you miss it? You cannot miss your own self. Ananya says, Namaste, Father. I would like to expose something and burn it in the fire of satsang. We are being taught to interpret everything and not see things as it is. This accumulation of knowledge just enhances more arrogance sometimes. Trusting only your words, I place this at your feet, really tired of it. Yes. The world's idea, the mind's idea, the ego's plan as the interpreter is to provide you a commentary on everything that is going on. And now we have given up our own seeing and we go with the version that this commentator is providing us. So most of us don't see the world fresh. We see it through the eyes of this interpreter who always sees separation alone. It actually invents separation when none exists. Therefore, the real question is what is true right now? Not what the commentator is saying. We are not asking for what the commentator is saying. And like Ananya said, it is only in satsang that we have this kind of conversation. In all other cases, everyone is expecting the response from a mind. They're always saying, what do you think about this? So we're living in this world of interpretations, living as the interpreter itself. But who is the mind speaking to? Who are your thoughts referring to you as? Does this one exist? It's actually very simple, isn't it? You, as a separate you, just do not exist. It is as simple as that. And then if you say, but I am here, see, this is very good. When I say you do not exist, then you could say, but I am here. What is this that is here? Let's find out this one. Who is this one that is here? Very good. So much love, Louise. Cornelia says, only pure seeing remains. Ultimately, only pure seeing remains. Yes. Namaste. Atma says, yeah, yes, therefore it is easy because person has never been here. Yes. It is the simplest thing. Namaste, Amrit. Ananya says, yes, I am here now. Very good. This one that is here now does not need to rely on any knowledge, you see. No intellectual understanding is needed now. Atma says, I am just feeling to close the eyes and melt into your voice and presence. Yes, that's very good. On Saturday, when we had the in person satsang, yes, we discovered something which we hadn't spoken so much of earlier, which was that on this path it seemed like we have gotten used to constantly taking our temperature. Is some of you there? You heard this part? We are constantly evaluating the states in which we are in. Let all these states come and go. Let all that is happening happen. Don't use any state as a pointer to your freedom. Because if you rely on a state to find your freedom, then this state does go like all states must go, and then you again start believing that you're not free. You see? So we can also drop this thermometer now, where we're not constantly checking up on what is appearing. We are not labeling also what is appearing. It is another way in which the mind will keep us involved. Because the mind now starts interpreting your so called spiritual progress also. And this still seems meaningful to the seeker. But I will not leave you even with this. Even this you will let go of. Because it is not freedom to constantly be concerned about which state is appearing. It is just not freedom. It is just another way for the mind to say that you are almost there, or you are not there, or you were there and you are losing it again. So don't buy any interpretation of the states which are appearing as well. Don't label them even as good or bad. Very good. Ginger says, Anantaji, all day I looked at my children and saw them as a result of my own imaginings. Yes. It was such a sweet and beautiful scene. No threat and no threat, real and unreal, disappeared, and only the creator of the dream was seen. Very good. Very good. All that is appearing is a reflection of your own being, is a projection of your own being. All of this is about you. This is all about you, just not you as a person. Because somewhere when I say this is all about you, the person wants to feel special and feel good. Yes, this is all about me, I am special. It is not about that. We are one being, we are one seeing. Very good. Atma says, let all is happening happen. Very good. Vipke says, love that part with the temperature. Yes. These are the subtle tricks of the mind, isn't it? Now, this one has lost all interest in everything else. So, let's keep giving them a report of how I'm progressing spiritually. And we buy our spiritual stories now. So, don't be so quick to buy your stories, even if they are spiritual. Ananya says, it seems like it's been a habit to believe what the thought says, yes, be it spirituality or anything else. Yes. Now, in this silence, it is crying for more attention. You see, now the rubber is really hitting the road for you, isn't it? This is very good. Now, when the intellectual understanding has even been set aside, because there might have been a time not so long ago where you would have said, I understand all of this, I got it. Now you see that there is nothing to get. And in this silence of nothing to get, no lack, no need, then very gently you can see what is really going on. And all these tricks will be seen very clearly now. And with no effort to try and get something, all of this will unfold for you. And there can be no spiritual ego now in this. It's very good. Let the mind try as much as it wants. Don't be so compassionate towards the mind. Just stand your ground and say, let's see what happens. It's like my daughter, she has this new tablet. So on that tablet computer, she has this new some game where she has a pet cat. And then you're supposed to feed that cat, you're supposed to take care of it. So she has been refusing to feed this pet cat. And the cat has been crying out for more attention. And then ultimately, yesterday she said that I cannot be so mean. So let me feed her something. So the mind is like this imaginary pet. It's our imaginary friend. But it is truly not our ally. It only brings misery. So don't feed this imaginary friend for some time and see what happens. Louis says, Father, yesterday I had a tantrum. Okay, it came and went just like a child. Yes. There is no holding on to it, although there was thought in the background. The only thing that came, which was a bit, we'll wait for her to finish typing, which was a bit sticky, was now this person feels there is a problem between us. And how do I approach them next time I see them? Ah, I see. So you had a tantrum with another person, and now there is a person here which feels like something has gone wrong in the relationship. And how do I plan the next meeting? What is going to happen? There's a fear about it, or there's a need to fix it in some way. See, it can get very complicated if you were to deal with issues at this level, at a personal level. What should I say? What should I have done or not done? What can I say now? Should I apologize? Should I not apologize? All of these questions can come. Whether to apologize or not has been also a theme for some in the last week. That is why we have dropped all this complexity now. And you know what I'm going to say next. Because we have dropped all this complexity, what we have said is just don't believe your next thought. And then let everything unfold as it should. And you might find your mouth is saying, sorry, I'm so sorry. Or you might find your mouth saying completely the opposite. And it is all completely fine. It is the guilt or the planning for the future which is more mentally tiring, more stressful, isn't it? As it is going to unfold in exactly the way it is meant to. All this thinking is needless. So now, if you see that, it can just be let go of. And these kind of things can be sticky. So when we say don't believe, then they seem to come back again. And if this is something really sticky and it keeps coming back, then it gives you a lot of fodder for inquiry. What is it that is so worried about this relationship? Which identity still exists here? Which identity am I carrying about myself still? That I don't even have a freedom to throw a tantrum. Is there some fear of how I will be perceived? It gives us so much fodder for beautiful transcending and self inquiry. So we can be grateful even for this. Although, when I say this, sometimes I know the feeling might come that this is crazy. It was such an unpleasant event. How can he say be grateful even for this? Be grateful because it is an opportunity to transcend this. First, an opportunity to see that something like this still is here, and then an opportunity to let it go, to let it get released. And Louis says, because it just came and went, Father, I did not feel there was a problem at all. Yes, very good. But do not know how to approach the problem, do not know how to approach the person when they feel there is. Don't plan anything. Don't plan anything at all. The mind will say that if I don't plan, then it will be a static state. It will be a state of limbo. I will not do anything if I do not plan, is what the mind is saying. But this is not true. There is actually no linkage even between thought and action. You will see that very spontaneously, automatically, something will unfold. Nothing will be left unresolved. Just don't need to rely on your thoughts for anything. It doesn't matter what conclusion you come up with in thought. So, even if you were to say that, what should I do now? And you get some guidance that you must decide now to apologize. See, that means nothing. Because what will unfold in the moment when you are together or in communication will just happen on its own anyway. Many times we have decided that we will apologize and instead we go and shout at that person more, isn't it? Many times we decide to get angry with someone and then when we are in the presence we find that we have said sorry. All of this is happening on its own. It has nothing to do with you, except that it is only that it is appearing as a movie for you. But you are not a character in this movie. And any time you try to play the role of the character, then it is bound to come with its suffering. Because the life of a movie character is very difficult. Much easier to just watch the movie. Very good. And Aradhana says, thank you, Ananta. Your response to Louise applied here too. Yes, very good. Ananya says there was an expectation that certain kinds of thoughts or judgment shouldn't come. Yes. But I saw that this demand was pure arrogance. Who is to say what should or shouldn't come? Very beautiful words, very good. So grateful to life to strip me off completely like this and see it as an opportunity to only look inside. Very good. What is still being identified with? Very nice. Very good. Okay, now this chat is jumping. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Aradhana said there is a fear here that if I don't lay the ground rules for sibling and my patch up will be taken for granted again, though there is no residue of anger or resentment or anything negative. Being can always be taken for granted because it never leaves, it has no expectations, it is ever present. So get used to being taken for granted actually. This is the end of specialness. And being taken for granted will not bother you now. It's very good that you bring this up, you see. Don't have any fear of being taken for granted. Atma says, Father, I am just listening to your voice, eyes closed. Father, I feel like I don't need to know anything or to understand anything. Yes. There is nothing to hear or to be understood, Father. Just to listen and hear you and melt and give all to you. And this is happening on its own, isn't it? So even this surrender is not a doing. It will be just a realization that this is what I always was. Very good. All I need to do is to let go and give all to you. Yes. Not to collect anything, but to leave all. Take all from me, it is all yours. I just am. Yes. Whatever you give has been taken that very instant. Very good. Aradhana says, throwing this into the fire of satsang that I have to pretend to be a person. Yes. Even though there is no belief in personhood, you don't have to pretend to be a person. The self knows exactly how to behave in any situation. No pretense is required here. No pretending even to be some awakened person. Just let everything flow moment to moment. There are no ground rules for the awake one. There is no code of conduct. But it is seen that all that will flow is completely auspicious. and we will not even identify with these seeming miracles that will happen around us. And here, simply because sibling is identified with sister role, makes no sense thrown into the fire. Yes. The Supreme Intelligence knows how to play all roles. It does not need the mind's intervention. Louis says, "This is what I feel, Father." Not to give it any more thought, and it will unfold as it will. Exactly. Very good. They were just thinking about apologizing, but even this doesn't feel needed. Very good. Very good. So, no guilt, no resentment, no pride, no fear. Just a simple, sober being. Pure innocence of being. Very good. Naomi says, "Dearest Antaji, exposing that my mind attaches to criticism of others, particularly my husband. And even though I think I am dropping the next thought, resentment still resides within me. It is palpable to others, and feelings of shame arise. This being is struggling with dropping years of hurtful words and resentment. Thank you so much." Yes. And this is very natural and common, actually. It is very common. This special relationship, partnership, I even said once that this was also my own last bastion, so to speak, because I was refusing to believe thoughts which were happening here, thoughts which were happening for others. But if a thought came up for Garima, then there was still some juice in it. And if a thought came up here also about Garima, there was still some juice in it. And I can happily report to you that most of it is gone. And if it can happen here, then it will happen there also. Because my seeing is your seeing. My Sangha is me actually. This will also go. It will not go completely, but 99.995% exact calculation, it will go. You see, this is the relationship with the most Jews. This and the children are relationships with the most Jews. Therefore, it is completely natural for the thoughts to be the most tempting or the most attractive when it is about our partners. But now that you have seen this, and you have even had the courage to expose it in satsang, then you will find that this also will start dissolving very fast. It is very good. I'm very happy to see the honesty and integrity in your report. It's very good. Atma says, yes, even this surrender is not a doing. Yes, it is not a doing, it is just a seeing, it is just a realization. Ananya says, the only homework that the teacher gives us in this universe, the university, is not to believe the next thought. Yes. Simple, no? It's actually very easy for me to come up with a set of practices. Very, very easy. I can give you all different sorts of games to play, all different experiments to do. But again, there is potential for the mind to get involved with those, mind to give reality to those, mind to start keeping score of how you did in each experiment or practice. So it's best to keep it simple like this. Very good. Aradhana says, thank you, Ananta. Your will be done. Very good, my dear. Charles says, Father, I don't know how to escape the belief that I am still deluded. But good that you call it a belief. I understand the truth in what is spoken. I remind myself of the tricks to stop the mind when it is caught up in thought. There is still belief that delusion exists here because I still feel the individuality and not the essential nature of the natural being. Then you say, when I surrender and try to give up and let be, I usually just want to sleep. Then grace usually steps in with a good kick. This is very good. See this sentence. Then grace usually steps in with a good kick. To call a kick grace itself is great beauty. Who can call a good kick grace? This itself is great beauty. So now you see that all that is happening is grace, which is another way of saying that we are grateful and we say thank you for all that is arising. As my master says, the simplest mantra. I want to also look at something you said earlier, which was that I still feel the individuality. Now, this I'm very interested in. You say, I still feel the individuality. So now, can you feel the individuality right now? What does it feel like? So we'll stay with you for a while because I feel there is something here. So you say, I still feel the individuality. If this is true, can you tell me what it feels like? Where is this individual? What does this individual feel like or look like? And while you type, I'll just read up the next. Atma says, your Sangha is you, Father. Yes. Zoe says, Namaste, beloved Father, just joining for the last 15 minutes. Very good. Naomi says, so relieved to hear your words that we are you. Of course. Very good. It will all burn away. Definitely. Jayani says, beloved Father, experiencing satsang flu. Fever and pain in the body, with lots of fighting and resistance to feeling so terrible. Please take this, Father. I'm very happy to take it. Very happy. It is all my problem now. Let me deal with it. And don't ask for it back. Don't say that it is happening to me. Say that it is all happening to Ananta now. You cannot find the me to which it is happening. So you can simply say that it is Ananta's problem. That all that has to appear appears. Very good. Durham says, Father, you tell us not to believe the next thought. But that doesn't mean not to express something that is just coming, isn't it? It doesn't mean that. All actions can unfold in their beautiful innocence. All actions can unfold. We are not to interpret, to believe the interpreter about these actions also. See? So, to not believe the next thought does not mean that we come into force ourselves to be in some limbo state, or we get into this constant state of samadhi with no action. When you let go or you don't believe your next thought, internally you will see that you are in samadhi, but outwardly all the actions could still happen. All the words could still be expressed. It is not about renouncing any action at all. Very good. Then you say, because sometimes something just comes and just let it go. There is something not clear about this. Yes. Let everything just come and go. Like the words in this satsang are flowing on their own. There is no preparation, there is no deciding that something will be said or not said. There is no preconception that a particular question will be answered in this way. There is just a trust that everything that is doing all of this knows what it is doing. Being does not need to rely on thought. Everything can flow. Very good. Charles says, it's complicated for me because there is a memory of what essential nature in brackets, in quotes, felt like, which is complete joy and non existence, yet at the same time, along with the yet I still am. See? This is the trouble with spiritual experiences. And that's why we don't focus so much on spiritual experiences because we start to relate that state, the spiritual experience state, as a freedom state. But this is not true. All experiences, all states are coming and going. But where are they coming and going? Inside what are they coming and going? They're all arising inside you and going inside you. This one who witnesses this state, which you call the essential nature, and the one that witnesses the state which you call person state, is the witness of either of these states touched by any state. See? The one witness is that touched also. This you must see. And then you must see whether there is any distance between you and this witnessing. Are you in what is being witnessed, or are you in the witnessing itself? This contemplation you must do. And when this contemplation is done, you will find that you are untouched by any state, no matter how beautiful or sublime it is. You will be untouched. You are never that. You are always here. You are never an appearance, no matter how beautiful it is. This witnessing of this sublime state, and as well as the person state, this witnessing is what you are. Ishani says, Namaste, Father and Sangha. Got late, but good to be here. Good to have you as well, my dear. My mind has set up a contradiction, Charles says. It is the mind's job to keep you confused. Don't believe anything that the mind is saying. Report from this state of non belief in any concept. What will you say from here? Atma says, such joy in this understanding. Okay, it jumped up again. Such joy in this understanding that there is nothing to be understood, just to let go of. Grateful, beloved Father, at your feet. Thank you, my dear. Then Jayani says, tears, Father, no sufferer. Yes, no sufferer. Very good. Love you too. Rashmi says, can't listen to audio, but just reading chat is so beautiful. Feel you all in me. Very good. Thank you. Atma says, if I can keep it steady for a minute. I just feel and see this, she says. I see you came to us and you say, beloved children, my friends, I saw this here in myself. Yes, it is an ultimate truth. And you come and see for yourself. Find the same truth that I found. Yes, that's true. And we are trusting you. You are our father and friend. I see it now so simple. Yes, like children see and feel. That's why Christ said, only the babes will find the kingdom of heaven. Or am I mixing up? So with this childlike innocence, you will see the truth. Not with a learned mind, not with an intellectual understanding. With this childlike innocence. Big trouble with chat today. Maybe I refresh the window once. Okay, I'm not sure if I missed some, but the first one here now is Louis saying, today, Father, for the first time, among heavy energies which normally give a sense of being completely lost, there was presence and space and seeing of all these energies. This is very good. And this will happen naturally more and more. And all these energies will lose their strength. There are a couple of others also in the Sangha who feel some, used to feel very strongly these energies, and now they are fading away completely. It's all going to be just fine. Very good. Atma says, such joy in my heart, such joy realizing what we are really doing here. Very good. So happy, love you all. Love you too, my dear. Jurim says, I see now. There is also a huge fear here to the possibility of being rejected. This is what has been coming up for me these days after the retreat with Guruji. Yes. But Guruji cannot reject you, you see. So this fear, like all fears, is completely unfounded. But again, I completely understand what you are saying because there is memory here of what used to happen here also. So I understand where this is coming from completely. That you see, you will become so fearless. You will become so fearless that even if Mujiji shouts at you or gets angry with you, you will feel only love which is coming. Because that is the true position. Even though externally to others also it might seem that the master is being strong with you, you will wonder what the fuss was about because you will see only love. But this fear is natural. Don't feel that it should not be there. But I can tell you from my own experience that it will mean nothing. This will also go. This is just the way it plays out, you see. It's very natural. Louis says a sense of my true self among these energies, yes, which normally is not recognized. This is very beautiful. Very good, my dear. I'm very happy. See, all of it plays out in this way. Sometimes when you get angry or what you call the tantrum, or some resistance or anger, even against the master could come. But a true master will always welcome it because it is the releasing of these energies which have been your companions for so long. It is very good. Durham says, so it feels like mind has been using all these spiritual instructions to hide this fear of being rejected. It's very good. As long as you stay in satsang, nothing will stay repressed. No tricks of the mind will be not seen through. All will be burnt in the fire of satsang. This is very good. Jaini says there is a seeing that the body is nothing more than a modulation of awareness. Yes. An arising sensation can't put into words, but it is like I have no real physical body. The world is my body. Yes. The universe is the body of being. The universe is the body of God. Very good. And all these insights will flow. Very good. Then we will not be so concerned with what is happening in this particular body. Of course, you can continue to be compassionate towards it. If it needs some help, you can take it to a doctor. You can even take medicine. Nothing wrong with any of that. You will just not confuse it to be you. It will always be seen to be a beautiful, innocent instrument. That's all. Then he says this is usually followed by a period of sickness and identification. Just exposing and placing all in the fire. This is good. There is no cause and effect. Don't know if this makes sense. Yes, it does. And you will stop tracking these patterns also. What will happen is that this is another form of keeping taking the temperature, right? We keep taking our temperature, and this flows very well with the discussion we had today. So you will not remember also that is this what happened last time to the body? You will not even remember. Very Ananya says, all these years, there was a tendency to be influenced by what the world said or considered to be true. I find it very funny when she says all these years. She's just 21. All these years, how many years? There was a tendency to be influenced by what the world said or to be considered to be true. Now I see and know with so much conviction and love that only your words have brought me out of suffering. Good. Who can say such beautiful words at such a young age? This is a beautiful reminder to all of us that it is not the body's age which is important. So, even though the body might be only 21, there can be such beautiful unfolding that can happen. Very good. And she says, I am home mentally, psychologically, in every other way. I love you so much, Father, resting at your feet. Very good, my child. Very good. Charles says, how does one know one is free? When in the moment, right now, you're not able to find any bondage. Show me one thing that binds you now. And if you cannot find the bondage, then you are free. So either you show me your chains, either you show me what binds you, or you hear my words that you are constantly ever free. You have never been bound. You can only pretend to be bound, you can only pretend to be a person by believing in thoughts. It doesn't actually bind you. You are the self. Self cannot be bound. Atma says crying is happening, visible feeling, just tears, tears. So much love, my dear. Kapil says, thank you, Charles. Your questions are showing me my doubts as well. All will be burnt in the fire of satsang. All that is untrue will be exposed and will be left behind here. Just keep showing up in satsang and you will see that none of this will be left behind. Hmm. Let's see if we can get the chat to stay. Jiram says, thank you, beloved Father. Let nothing remain. So much love to you too, my dear. You're right there in the lap of God. All is perfect. So much love, Soham. So much love. One heart, yes. One being, one heart, yes. Dinan says, thank you. I trust you completely. Let nothing here remain. Very good. Very good. Jenny says, yes, Father, thank you. Can see now how this is taking temperature, all nothing. Very good, my dear. Very good. Ananya says, it does feel like a lifetime, Father. Yes. Girija is also here and then jumped up what she was saying. Thank you, Anantaji. Your presence is a blessing. Pranam. Namaste to you too. Very good. Charles says, sorry for some word got censored. Sure, I could supply many of them. I would like to hear these. This is good. If you can tell me how you are bound right now without referring to past story or future projection. If you can show me how you are bound right now without referring to any past story or future projection, this will be good for me to hear as well. Thank you, Prema, dearest one. Very good. Thank you, Ishani. Jenny says, nothing binds me, nothing touches this. Never born, always here, untouched. Beautiful scripture, your words are now. Very good. Louis says, Father, I feel bhaktiness coming here. My heart truly feels like it is opening up. Very beautiful. So grateful, Father. Love you so much. I love you too, my child. Very much. Very good. Very, very good. Zoe says, such joy here, Father, in all sets of circumstances. Eternal gratitude for your grace at your holy feet. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Ishani says, that's the sweetest thing I have heard, bhaktiness. Yes, first time I've heard that word, bhaktiness. Very nice. Very good. Okay, no more energy to read here. Very good. Thank you all so very much for joining in satsang today. Moji ji ki jai. Very good.